Good morning and welcome to TCTV News. I'm your anchor, Hubert McCarthy.
And I'm Sabrina Harrison. A fundraiser was held Saturday to support the family who died in a flash flood on Washington Boulevard. The Fall Festival was held at the Royce Park in Ski Lodge, Palm. In August, Kimberly Griffith and her daughters, Brianna and Michaela, died in a flash flood. The crew found the three trapped inside a van that was pinned against a tree. The Palm Broth Education Association will present all of the proceeds to the Griffith family.
The men killed in a grain elevator explosion in Kansas included an Iraq war veteran, an avid collector of model John Deere tractors, who hoped to farm, and soon-to-be husband looking forward to a wedding only 3 weeks away. 4 of the 6 were younger than 25. Something unsurprising in a business that experts say involves a lot of physical labor and tends to be a young man's game. The work there also tends to be dangerous. Farmers take their grain to elevators to be stored and sometimes processed before it is marketed or sold.
U.S. authorities say they have broken up a massive drug smuggling network run by a Mexican cartel in Arizona. A total of 76 suspects have been arrested and huge quantities of drugs and arms seized in the series of raids. The ring used backpacks and vehicles to smuggle marijuana, cocaine, and heroin across Arizona's western desert. The network was linked to Mexico's cartel and generated an estimate of $2 billion in profit over the last 5 years.
Art teacher Yvonne Delfrat thinks it's never too soon for a budding artist to work in a studio. In fact, each week she turns over her Sharpsville Elementary School classroom to 40 budding artists, 5th graders who show an extra interest in art, the desire to try new things, and the drive to think through and create projects. They wouldn't have time for it in their regular weekly class. Now for a special edition of Teal Talk.
Hi, welcome to Teal Talk. I'm your host, Ken Badsumner, joined by Professor Alan Morrow, our guest for today. He's a director of the library and also an FYS teacher, a first-year seminar. So, Professor, I always see you running around the library, around classrooms, all over the place. I know your title is director, but what exactly does your job consist of?
Well, at Teal, I have a lot of different little jobs that I work on. One being the library, so that takes me all over the building, up and down and all around. But then I also teach an FYS class. Luckily, it's in the library, so I don't have too far to go for that. And I'm the executive director of the Learning Commons. So I do a lot of work with different faculty, the Office of Disability Services, and the ACE counselors that work down in the Learning Commons.
It's really interesting. Yeah, I always see you always all over the place. I just always want to know what exactly you did. I mean, I know you're obviously important, big man on campus, but I wasn't exactly sure.
Well, I don't know how important. I know I'm not that big, but I'm the kind of person that I can't just sit behind a desk and do paperwork.
Yeah, always active.
Like to get my hands on things.
Yeah, I respect that. But, you know, you work in a library. I'm not trying to bash or anything, but it's maybe not the most attractive place to work. So, like, what drew you into, like, working in a library?
Well, I resisted it for a long time. I should start by saying my dad is now retired, but was a college librarian. And for many years he said, I think you'd be very good with college students. And I said, no, I would like to get a real job. Books are all going to be gone in electronic soon. And he said, no, I really think you could be really good at it. And I actually got an internship at a library museum and found out that all the museum workers there had library degrees. So I decided I could get a library degree and maybe get a museum job. So he was very excited that I would go to library school. Ironically, I've only worked in one museum, that being on that internship. I've always been in a college.
That's really interesting. Always got to keep your options open, though.
Well, early on, and the plan was I could go to any state college and get another degree while I worked in their library, but I haven't fallen back on that yet.
That's pretty nice. So I was wondering, kind of like the library, you know, Teal's not the most attractive place either, kind of in the backwoods of Pennsylvania. And from my understanding, you're not from Pennsylvania. So how did you find out about Teal or get located here?
Well, I'm originally from the state of Indiana. I've learned since I've been in Western PA, if I say Indiana, people think the town
Yeah,
Indiana.
yeah.
But after I was in library school, I did work for a short time at a museum in Louisville, Kentucky, and then an art college in Kansas City, Missouri. And then from Missouri, I went to Massachusetts at the Massachusetts Liberal Arts College. And then Teal actually made an offer to me. What was kind of funny is I used to drive back to visit family in Indiana, and we would stop at Grove City or somewhere along 79 here, a couple times in Meadville. And we would often say this would be a nice place to live. We wouldn't have so far to drive to get home. And when Teal called, I said, "You'll never believe where this is located." So it's not a place I was unfamiliar with. My grandparents actually were teachers at Geneva College.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah, that's really close.
My whole family are Steelers fans. I mean, so I feel somewhat at home.
Okay, yeah, you're not that far away then in reality. So you also teach an FYS class, which is James Bond, and obviously it's a real entertaining topic, but what sparked your interest in it? I actually found out recently through class that it goes back a lot farther than I thought.
That's right. I've been teaching, this is my fourth class, my third one on James Bond. Originally, I taught an FYS on the history of books. We got a lot of people, but I'm not sure it was anybody's first choice. A lot of those students are seniors this year, so it's kind of nice to see them go all the way through. And I've always been a big fan of James Bond books and movies, and it does tie somewhat into the library because we talk a lot about how books present information in a certain way and movies present information in a certain way. And of course this year we have the added element that it's a 3-hour class, so we do spend an hour a week working in the library, getting our hands dirty with book dust and things like that.
Yeah, it's definitely helped me so far. And I think the other students, it's shown in like the OWE classes how it kind of seem more advanced than the other kids since we're always working in the library and Tress is always out giving us a hand.
Well, that's our goal.
All right, well, hold that thought, and we'll be right back right after these quick commercials.
Some people will try anything for more cleaning power, but Libman's improved Wonder Mop has microfiber grips that lift and lock more dirt. And when you're done, don't toss it, just wash it. Another reason Libman makes good, clean sense.
All right, well, welcome back. I'm Ken Bassimer, joined again by our guest, Professor Morrow. So recently we took a trip out to shoot some guns for FYS. I just wanted you to touch a little bit on that and, what you thought the overall, how the kids perceived it and all that nonsense.
Well, ever since I started the James Bond class, and we read about a lot of different weaponry, and we see people using props in the movies, I thought it'd be kind of interesting to be able to get our hands on the actual weapons that we read about in the books. When the shooting club got started a couple years ago, I had mentioned that to Jim Flamia, and he said, I'd be really happy to bring some in. And this year, we actually double booked a room, and so we actually had to do a field trip of some sort, and I checked with Jim, and we worked with Chief so that we'd be allowed to go out and do that. That was one of the first primary things, was the safety. And then I gave Jim the list, and he was excited. He said, I have one of those. I have a Walther. I have this Beretta. I have an assault, like an AK assault rifle. But he didn't have the German machine gun that'll be in our next book. He said that'd be the only thing he didn't have, but he'd work on it maybe for next year. So we might. But it was really fun. I think at first the class thought it was kind of strange that we drove vans out to East Acres, but once he made his presentation, he's very knowledgeable on the gun safety, and I was kind of pleased because we read in the books that James Bond doesn't really like the Walther PPK as it doesn't have much stopping power and it jams a lot. And of course, when Jim was showing us, the first thing it did was jam.
Yeah.
And then when we shot a empty 2-liter plastic bottle, it didn't even knock it over. So it was a really good illustration of what we read about in the book without it really, being planned to be that way.
Yeah, I thought it was really unique and helped it all. It was nice seeing how the guns actually work and all that, and it did definitely tie into the book, which was pretty nice. But next question, a little bit more off topic. I always see you wearing like a bow tie. I think it's a little bit different than some of the other professors. Is that just because James Bond, or do you like them? Or?
Well, I used to kind of mix it up. sometimes on Fridays I'd wear bow ties, and people would start coming in and asking me about it. And I realized a couple weeks ago I wore a long tie with a sweater, and it was the first time I'd tied one since June. I'd been wearing bow ties. So now I have to admit, I try to find a good bow tie for every day.
Yeah, I think it's definitely neat. It's a nice little change of pace compared to some of the other professors who always, same slack and tie every week. But another thing is I also see you wearing T-shirts, once a week. So I was wondering if you're part of any clubs, or you just helping to get the word out, or what's the deal behind that?
I actually advise a couple different clubs. I'm the advisor for SGA and the new book club that started last year. Whenever they have a T-shirt for an event, I'll wear that, particularly the SGA. We try to wear those when there are meetings. But then other times during the year, if the pink out happens, or if a sorority is raising money or fundraising, I'll try to get a T-shirt. I can always get my bow tie to poke out over the top, so it works out pretty well.
Yeah, the T-shirts I definitely think help though, because I don't get an email a lot of the time, and honestly, not many of the students are going to pay attention to signs on doors or in the cafeteria. So I think it definitely helps spread the word.
Well, and I've also found out that since I started wearing the bow ties more often, and as you already noted, I'm always hard to find, that people are now sending students over to the library and they say, ask for the guy in the bow tie. So
Yeah.
I know now if I don't wear it, they won't be able to find it.
Yeah, definitely unique. Well, that's all the time we have. Thanks again for our guest, Professor Morrow, and be sure to tune in next time. Special edition of Teal Talk. Now back over to the desk.
Teal's weekly movie is The Smurfs. It will be held in the AC in Bly Hall this Sunday, November 6th. Don't miss out on a great movie and a raffle ticket for the weekly movie basket giveaway. Now, let's take a look in entertainment.
Thanks, guys, from the desk. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Taylor. Attention Twihards, 2 new promos of the latest installment to the new franchise, Breaking Dawn Part 1, have surfaced. More promos are scheduled to be released November 18th. Here's one of the 2 promos. Enjoy.
You know it'll always be your home, right?
I love you, Dad. Forever.
Trying to appreciate your last night as a human. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I know I can do this.
The Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 1, rated PG-13, November 18th.
Halloween has come and gone, but the spirit lives on with our favorite celebrities. This weekend, many of your favorite celebrities sported their favorite costumes for the festive occasion. Here's a quick look at some of the most popular outfits. Take a look.
Crazy Stupid Love comes out on DVD and Blu-ray this week. This popular romantic comedy sports stellar cast led by Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling, Emma Stone, and Julianne Moore. In case you may have missed it, we have a trailer of the film.
So hot! Wow! Wow!
You're so serious.
Oh dear God, cheers! Seriously? Nasty.
You are so dirty.
I know.
I'm in corporate insurance. I have children. I'm wearing a suede jacket that just seals in all the juices. And I'm looking at your breasts. What's that about?
I'm gonna help you rediscover your manhood. You're sitting there with a Supercuts haircut. You're getting drunk on watered-down vodka cranberries like a 14-year-old girl. Would you take that straw out of your mouth? Please. It looks like you got a schwanz in your mouth.
No one's thinking that.
Really? You see, the problem is that your head has like the proportions of like a styrofoam peanut.
It does.
You gotta take control of your manhood, pal.
Would you put on some clothes, please?
Oh, I'm sorry, is this bothering you?
No, it's not.
If it's not bothering you, we got a bigger problem.
Come on!
Hot guy from the bar who hit on you is here. Liz, I'm studying. You should be studying the gentle curve of his... What is wrong with you? That too much?
I've only had sex with one woman.
Tell me more.
I'm a little worried you have AIDS. Just a little, just a little bit. It's okay. I'm not worried.
I heard you crying in your bedroom the other night. Didn't know what to do. Tried Googling it. What did Google say? Just a bunch of weird videos, moms in bed.
Oh God, okay.
Rated PG-13, starts July 29th.